Hey, it's BT with Tales from the Gemini. You know, every now and then, sometimes I don't take advantage of what's at my disposal. I always, I interview great guests, don't get me wrong, but man, I sometimes forget how the greatness that's close to me. And my guest now, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, not just because we've been in a group together, because he literally is one of the best comics that has ever graced a microphone. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. We'll get into all that, whatever. And I mean it. He's one of the best comics. You mention his name, and anybody who knows him and seen him perform knows, oh, yeah, that's that dude. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I reel off all his accolades and everything, he's the guy who's actually been on, sometimes you do intros to people on the shows, like, he's been on this and that. You go, that motherfucker ain't been on that show. But this dude has actually been on those shows. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on Tales from the Gemini, one of the best comics out there, Mr. Vince Morris. What's up, V?
Man, let me say this. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate what you just said, and I have the exact same feeling about you. That's no bullshit. As far as recognizing what a true stand-up is, man, I think we have the ability to do that, and I think you're one of the top comics in the world as well, man. I can't nobody fuck with you, man.
Man,
we don't want to follow each other. I tell you that bullshit.
Shit, hey, I've had to follow your ass, man. Fuck that. I mean, seriously, it's like no. Game recognized game. I mean, anybody has ever been around you. Those big name acts from LA who come in and they come in all like with their LA credits and they go, "Who's the feature act?" No, oh, Vince Morris. Hey, listen, can I talk to the manager for a second? Yeah, I want him doing a tight 2, and then I want him doing a tight 2, and then I want to open micer, and then I want somebody else to intro me. Okay, great.
Set. Yeah. Okay. The difference between those guys that come in now. Here's the thing. Here's what I admire about you. Real talk. I mean, all of it's real talk. Is that the comics that come in with a pseudo book bags, and they have like a 3-ring notebook and whatever. You are the only motherfucker I know that carries a notebook around with jokes legitimately in it. And every time we go on stage, we're in the dress room, we're in the green room, we might be in a limo, you are literally looking at your actual notes of jokes. And not very many comics legitimately do that. They may have a notebook, but your ass is rearranging stuff, and I'm like, man, that's how you do it.
Well,
it's not LA.
Well, that's because I slept all day and I'm trying to remember what the fuck I'm trying to
you know what? It don't matter. Here's the thing. I admire you because at one point I thought I was Jay-Z. I didn't have to write shit down.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, I'm like, man, I forgot what, I literally, hold on, you think I'm bullshit? Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you what I did yesterday. Hold on. Look, hey, you think I'm bullshit?
This is why. Yo,
I went old school on you last night, and my daughter thought it was something. My daughter's like, "What is that? A new phone?" I'm like, "No, this is from like the '90s." I actually pulled this son of a bitch out yesterday, and was recording some bits that I want to expound on because I can't write shit down anymore. I need to hear myself because I don't trust myself. I'm like, I went old school, so I'm starting to. If I get an idea, I'm like, almost like I dictated to it, like Mannix. Take this down, bro.
No, like Cannon and Manning. Let me tell you something. If that big motherfucker could catch somebody, then anybody can. Because he wasn't chasing nobody.
No.
How the fuck was...
Criminals walked up to Cannon and shook his hand. Like, you want to take me in? He's like, yeah, please, thank you.
Cannon and Barnaby Jones. They had to be the greatest detectives in the world because they weren't chasing shit.
Nope.
Nope. How did Barnaby Jones become a fucking detective?
They had gout and hot diabetes. Who wrote that script for Cannon? All right, the assailant will actually commit a crime. Cannon, you sit in the car and we'll have him walk up and sit in the back, and then you're arrested. Mannix was jumping out of cars and spinning around. Mannix had some agility to him. He had that black secretary, so he kept him young.
Yo ass better not be jumping out that motherfucking LTD. Here's what you better do, Mannix. Yeah, a black secretary would keep your ass in check, even back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Mannix and Barnaby Jones and Cannon. Oh my God. We started off with a bang on this shit. Yeah, yes, man. Yeah, but you know what, though, to be honest, man, but you know what, though? Everything with your comedy, or at least most comedians, it all starts from the childhood. I mean, to me, or the growing up, that is. You know, you look at Richard Pryor. You look at, and I always use Richard because Richard was an open book about that. Right. That's why his act was the way, but that's how he dealt with his demons also. But his greatest asset was also his greatest liability. But man, when he was on, I don't think there was anybody better. And what you've done, and what people don't understand is, and this is what I hate almost about being a Midwest comic is, I just don't think you get the props you deserve if you stay in the Midwest and you do your comedy. You get like a local comic, whatever, and then you see people come out. If you open up for a big name and they go, "Hey, you're pretty good too," and they go, "Motherfucker, he was just as good as the headline, even better," and you don't get those props. Has that ever pissed you off when knowing what you bring to the table, knowing and people hear that L.A. or that New York, and they automatically give them the accolades? Has that ever pissed you off?
Yeah, I think we in the beginning of doing stand-up, the dream was to go to LA or New York. I think we both experienced that. But it's just the reality for me, how I interpret it once I got to Los Angeles. LA did a lot for me. I can't lie. Had its ups and downs. But as far as being a Midwestern comic, I think that prepared us better than any other comedians ever be, because we did everything. Those LA comics who were born and raised, or they just moved there pretty quickly, they don't know what it's like to do a motherfucking Keith Gisser gig. They have no idea what it's like to do a John Yoder gig or a fucking Sobel. They don't know what it's like doing a gig for Sobel was okay, but talking to Sobel, they don't know what it's like to have to endure listening to Tom Sobel. They you know what I mean? So it's like, but when they get in front of us or behind us, they know who we are. It's no, it's no big deal. They know who we are. They can't fuck with it, overall. They like, oh, okay. We glad you motherfuckers are staying in the Midwest. That's what they think.
Do you think your upbringing helped your stand-up at all? I mean, did you bring that into your stand-up? Because I know you're born and raised, for people who don't know, born and raised Columbus, Ohio, right? How was your upbringing? I know a little bit about you, but I know that your dad played a major part in your life, major part.
Yeah, growing up, I was a single dad. My mom was in my life, but my dad raised me all by himself. So that in and of itself, I don't know if that brought comedy, but it was something to actually write comedy off of, because once you get older, people didn't believe it. Like, you got a black father? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. How was it like living with a black father? I'm like, it was like living with a black father. What the fuck? What kind of dumbass question is that? But how was it like having your father around? Motherfucker, how was it like having your father around? I didn't know any different. You know what I mean? So I wrote jokes off of that, to kind of like squash that stereotype. I had a dad.
My God, I remember, and I'm jumping all around because it's like just me and you talking. I'm trying to get to a larger audience, but I know those jokes. My God, the jokes you said, because your father, and I want to let you tell your story. But God damn it, your father was a sniper in the military, and I guess that was playing a part with his mentals. And your joke about coming home and all you see is that red light from the cigarette.
Oh yeah. Dad,
please tell that, please.
To this very day, I'm still afraid of the dark. My father.
Same here.
You know what? I'm a grown ass man. I don't have no problems. Hey, I cannot sleep unless I have to have a light on. Dude, I got it. My whole thing is, if there are ghosts in my house, I want them to be able to see. I'm not that disrespectful. I'm gonna leave a light on so you don't bump around and shit. Do what you got to do. And I go, that's why shit gets knocked over in the middle of the night, because the lights are out. Leave a light on for these motherfuckers. Let them do what they need to do. Don't disrespect them.
Hey, man, no lie. I got 2 Himalayan lamps that stay on when I go to sleep. 2 Himalayan lamps. I lie to you not. That I make sure they plugged in, turn them on when I go to sleep. And last night, I swear to God, last night my roommates are gone, so I got the house out of myself, like I'm in high school and shit. Got the house out of myself, so I left the door open, right, to the highway, whatever, and I had the TV on because I'm going to watch MotoGP for the weekend, so I left TV on. And I swear to God, I don't know what it was, but I don't know about you. I don't dream that much, but I was dreaming. And then, like, I left the window open, and the way the blinds hit the window, I thought I thought I heard somebody. I looked up. I thought it was my roommate's son, and I go, "Buddy!" And I mean, the hair on my forearm stood up, and I thought it was him. And then what? I go, and I shut the door, and I made sure I plugged those goddamn lamps in. I swear to God.
You know what it is? You know, I'm gonna go ahead and pat your back and pat my back. You know, for those people who want to make fun of us, is that we have very overly active creative minds, and that's what happens. Because when I lay down, I used to do jokes about that. I used to say, you know what? There's no monsters in the corner. You know, literally, there's no monster. And then the other side of my brain is like, well, what if there is? I'm like, fuck, you know, now I don't know. Because now, here's the thing. What I don't want to happen, I don't want to be the first motherfucker to actually have a monster in the corner. So I'm gonna leave a light on because I don't know if there is or isn't. I'm gonna go and split the difference. So, because my mind won't let me forget that. I don't care to this very day, if it's completely blackout in my room, my mind's like, there might be a monster downstairs. I'm like, man, you're in your 50s. Don't say that shit. Well, you never know. You might get eaten. And I go, oh, click, let me turn the light on. You know.
Hey, I think I told you a story. I went to a hotel, and you know how you check in at night, and I came in. As soon as the door closed, you know, I went to click the light on, and it wasn't there. And so I started searching the wall frantically, and I couldn't find it. I literally opened the door back up, and I went, whew. And so I took my phone and got my phone out and got the flashlight and found where the light switch was, and then I turned the light on, and then I came back in the hotel room. That's how much afraid of the dark I am.
I would tell you what, I did when I used to do colleges, I did an all-girls college. I believe it was either in Virginia. Yeah, it was in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And they had you know how they had me stay at one of the like the little the dorms, but it was like for like the teacher dorms. Mm-hmm. I walked in, it's like 3 layers, or 2 floors rather. Had all the old pictures and shit, you know, all the people who found it, you know, motherfuckers, you know, just like the Scooby-Doo type photos and shit. I mean, literally, you know, just old white people staring at you for no reason. So this is no lie. This is no lie. I did the show, right? So I'm on stage and I'm like talking about, I'm like, man, that whole place got pictures and stuff. And I'm like, you know, y'all guys can put me up at a hotel. And they were like, oh, that place is haunted. And I'm on stage. I'm like, no, I see, don't bullshit me because I'm not, this ain't jokes. Oh yeah, you know, this little girl that we see, you know, apparently her mom was one of the people in the paintings. And we see her every once in a while on this little bridge over this pond. I'm like, y'all fuck with me. Like, no, we're serious. I'm like, see, now I'm not staying there. Like, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. I literally made the girl who was the head of the student activities at that time. I go, you're following me back to this place. You're going to come in here. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm packing my bags. I'm putting my shit in my dad's Dodge Zipper mat. I'm driving the fuck home. And that's exactly what I did. It was 8 hours. It was over 8 hours. I did not, she thought I was bullshitting. I'm like, nope. She walked in with me. I'm like, you come in here, you gonna go up the steps. She was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, it sure is. As I was packing up my shit, you got that right. I don't want to see no little white girl in a dress over some in a pond. I'm not doing this. And I'm like, this place is haunted. I'm not even fucking with it. I'm out. I got my car beat and I drove home all the way home that night. I'm like that. Didn't stay. I don't bullshit. I mean, I'm those aren't jokes. But this okay. No, it's not okay. So
that's great, man. I would have done the same thing, man. I don't mess with that. Oh, yeah. I don't mess with the dark, man. So okay, so what made you want to do comedy in the first place? What made you like? What was it made you go? I think I'm funny. What made I want to go on? I mean, what was that burning desire to go on stage and talk about your life or talk about whatever?
My friends kind of influenced me, you know, because I thought I was funny. I like jokes. I mean, I just been a class clown. I think it was because it was a defense mechanism, you know, to kind of deflect stuff. If somebody says something about you, you know, you kind of beat them to the punch.
Like against what? Like a defense mechanism against
what?
Well,
like somebody teasing you, you know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't like in high school, I was really like low key. I was quiet. A lot of people think I was like, you know, everybody knew who I was. They knew of me, but I wasn't like, you know, the focal point of every activity. I was just mostly like in a classroom. I'll make jokes just in general. You know, and a lot of my friends, whatever, my classmates would ask me questions like, do you sit at home and thinking of stuff? And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm just thinking of right now. I mean, how come you guys don't think like this? So I guess I contributed to growing up watching like all the comedies. My dad used to watch Benny Hill We used to rock the Pink Panther. The Pink Panther was the only white man that made my dad laugh. Peter Sellers. Yes. Peter Sellers would crack my dad the fuck up. My dad would be like, that's some bitch, something else. Literally, is that your dog? Does your dog bite? And the guy goes, no. And then he put his hand down and the dog rips his fucking arm off. He goes, I thought your dog didn't bite. He goes, that is not my dog. And my dad would lose it. So we watched that, and I watched Carol Burnett with my mom. Yes. So I watched, I watch all the comedies. And so to me, comedy was over the top. It was subtle. And I like Johnny Carson. So
oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So when I got old enough, I called the club in Columbus. I'm like, how would you have to be to work here to do amateur night? They told me. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna do it. My friend's like, you need to go ahead and go on stage. So I wrote like a little routine out. And this is funny. I don't think I ever told you this. My first time ever on stage. All right. That was back when the Bone was Tuesday through Sunday.
Yes.
Legitimately.
Yes.
3 shows on Saturday.
Yeah.
What?
Hell.
And ironically, the pay hasn't changed, but still. So anyhow, you would go Tuesday through Sunday. So, listen.
Yes.
Open mic night was on Tuesday. Yeah. So I called and said, once you turn 21, I said you can come up. So I wrote this routine out. I used to work at the airport with me and Open Latte Steve, the whole 9. So I wrote this routine out when I turned 21. And so I called, I'm gonna go, I come down to go, well, we're having like a contest, just come on down and check it out. And it wasn't open mic night. It was a Johnny Walker Red contest they had, but it was going around the country.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it just so happens that a couple comedians didn't show up. Shan Rarick, remember her?
Vaguely.
From Columbus. She used to do the Christmas shows, and she had a lot of one-nighters. Shannon Rarick. She was running this particular show, this contest. So she was like, honey, well, you can be in if you want. I'm like, cool. First time ever on stage, B, my hand to God. So the guys were asking me, what do you want me to say about you? I'm like, what does that mean? And Sharon's like, it doesn't matter, honey. You're not going to win. Don't worry about it. Just tell me from Columbus. I didn't know. This is no lie. So I remember my set list. I remember the jokes I did. I went on stage that night. This is going to fuck you up. My very first time on stage of the Johnny Walker Red contest, I fucking won.
Holy.
But I got disqualified because I went over it. No one told me what the light was.
How much time did you do?
About 40. No, I think I might did it. No, I swear to God. I think I did about 10. I don't know. I think it was like a 5-minute. I mean, whatever it was, they said I went over. But I was just doing the jokes that I prepared.
Yeah.
And you didn't see the light? I'm like, I don't know where the light is. What does that mean? And some say to this very day, legend has it, that moment on Vince never saw the light. That's swear to God. The very first time I went over and I didn't win. I was in first place. I was like, no, you got disqualified.
What were there any comics who became full-time comics that you know of, like names? Please give me a name.
Not that night, but I'm trying to remember. You know what's funny? That night, I legitimately went up against my high school teacher, gym coach, is Mr. Harris. This black dude, Mr. Harris, did stand-up.
Wow.
And legitimately, I'm like, Coach Harris. Yeah. And I used to back then, but I beat him. But Coach Harris, this is no lie. I'm fucking serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I beat Coach Harris, the black basketball coach, Warner Ridge.
Wow.
So
wow.
I don't know who was on the show that night, but I just remember that the group coming up. There's a lot of guys that came out of it. It was great. Dino Tripodis, Mike Loftus, John Rathbone was from Columbus.
Yeah.
So the whole clique. But yeah, man. But my very first time was the Johnny Walker Red or something contest, and I got in. As a newcomer, which I was. Wow. Won, got disqualified because I went over.
Now, was that the moment you thought, okay, I got something here, or I'm different? You know what I mean?
I loved it. Yeah, I liked it because I knew. I was writing jokes. One joke, my favorite joke at the time, put in respect, I said, now Kroger's has it all, instead of an all cash line, they have all check lane because they was like, they want people who, if you have checks, you go on this aisle. If you have all cash, you go on this aisle. And I said, I just hate to be the last guy in the check line with a gallon of milk, because the time you pay for it, it's gonna be penicillin because that line is so fucking long. That was my first jokes I wrote.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You remember all that.
I remember that. I remember that. And I remember the caller ID. A new thing come out called a caller ID, where if they call, you can see what number pops up. And fella, you can't lie anymore. Your girl call you, well, yeah, I'm over Steve's house. That ain't that goddamn Steve.
You remember all those jokes.
And you call Steve's number back and your girlfriend answers. I'm like, what the fuck, Steve?
You remember all that. And that's where you went, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I told my dad. I was at Ohio State. I was
and what was your major?
Engineering.
That's boring, man.
All of it's boring. But you just, coming out of high school, you better do something.
That structure. Well, they came from a structure, man, which, I mean, you can't knock it because that's the way, growing up, that's how they were. And you can't blame them for it. They wanted their sons to have a good education. That's they preach education, which is true. Growing up, a young black kid growing up, they wanted their sons, because they're busting their ass. They wanted their sons to have education. They wanted you to talk right, talk like you got some sense, and get a good education and get a good job.
My dad, and being in the Army, I told you before, my dad, my father told me about all the racism he experienced and stuff, and division and stuff. My dad was my father was like, I don't give a fuck what you do, you're not going to the Army. Because they would give like $30,000 grants, stuff, the scholarships to go to the Army, to go to the military. My dad, I go, this is no lie, my dad was like, I'll work 5 jobs. You are not going to the Army. It's much shit they put me through right now. We trying to buy a house and the discrimination, racism I experienced. I said, my dad, I go, my dad hated the military so much, I couldn't even have a job that reminded him of the military. I said, I remember I came home, my first job was someone like, Dad, I got a new job. I'm working for KFC. He goes, you're not working for any goddamn colonel. I don't care what you do. I go, Dad, it's just chicken. And he's like, well, if you like chicken so much, take your happy ass down to Popeyes. And I'm like, wasn't he in the Navy? He's like, shut your fucking mouth.
God damn it.
Like, you're not going to the Army. You're going to college. I'll pay for it. And so when I came home, my dad, I think I'm gonna do stand-up. And he's like, okay, cool. He said, just be the best you can be, and that was it.
Wow. So he kind of signed off on it.
Yeah.
Wow, which is incredible, because it was almost similar in the past. But man, my dad didn't really sign up on mine until like the last probably 10 years ago. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I think once I became on TV, he's like, all right, I think it's gonna work for you, boy. But he was the exact opposite. He was in the military like your dad, and he told me those experiences. But when I was getting to get out of high school, he goes either military or get a job, but you ain't staying here. That's what he said. Military.
Yeah, but my dad didn't kick me out though. Hey, same thing. You gonna do something. He goes, I don't care what you're gonna do. You're not gonna lay around.
Yeah.
But my dad wasn't like, I'm kicking you out. My dad was like, whatever you do something.
Wow.
So if you can be a janitor, be the best janitor. But I mean, that's not. He never said that, but that was his mentality. Whatever you want to do, son, just do the best you can at it. But what you're not gonna do.
Yeah.
They give you a list of shit you ain't. What you ain't gonna do is lay around this motherfucker. That's what you're not gonna do. That's not gonna be in your resume.
So you think when your dad talked to you about the racism in the military, do you think that rubbed off on you in a way? I mean, I think it was similar in the sense of both dads military. And they tell you the stories about it. They present it in one way on TV, but then your dads who are in it tell you the real shit. So you think that rubbed off on you?
It rubbed off in a way to where it opened my eyes.
In what ways? In what ways?
In a way, I think it opened my eyes to be able to say, what you see is not necessarily reality. Because my dad would watch TV. He watched war movies or documentaries or a news clip, and he yelled like, it didn't happen like that. That's a lie. It's that's not, we yelled at TV. That's not the way it happened, or that's wrong. And so I didn't know to what degree that how that was the reality of that. I didn't know to what degree that the lies are out there, the manipulation and the racism was. My dad I was trying to be like most kids raised in a liberal environment. That's how the cycle is. You go, you become liberal, you know, you want to open up, you know, oh, Dad, we're going to change the world. My dad was like, okay, you know, we'll see, you know. And as I got older, I'm like, yeah, that motherfucker was right. These motherfuckers on some bullshit. So, you know.
Yes. Okay.
You try to, you know, when you get 30, you in your 40s, you start going, this cycle is repeating itself. Y'all don't really mean this. Y'all don't want to help nobody. I don't, you know, I'm just a nigga with money now.
You know what? Honestly, it's weird, man, because I railed against him and was more on that liberal tip until like the last, I don't know, man. Like the last 5-10 years, I've been like on a total, like instead of like kind of like smoothing out, I've become more like like I've been my angst and I'm more angry than I should be at this stage. I should be like I'm reverse. You know what I mean? I feel like like I see the lies and I see the bullshit and I see they just rename stuff now. You know what I mean? Right. They rebrand it. And it's like, no, man, this is fucking bunch of bullshit. And it's the same old shit. It's just rebranded. That's the way I see it, you know?
Oh, that's the way it is, though. I mean, and then, like, you know, it's the way it is. So for me, being liberal is, I think most people, most Black people are liberal, but in the sense that I want what's right. I want what's fair, but it's not attached to any kind of politics. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I'm left wing or right wing. What makes sense? Is it right? Let's fucking do that. That's the right thing to do. It's not attached to what side are you on. It's like, y'all motherfuckers just need to do the right thing, period, you know? But when you get older, I mean, before you'd be like, oh, I'm on this side, you guys hate this. You know, you see, you know, as you get older, you see they just keep dividing us. They don't care. As long as they can divide you.
Yes.
I mean, I don't care how close they become. They throw something in and be like, aha, we got to keep y'all away from each other. You know,
first of all, I don't even know what liberal means. I really don't, because people say, and you go, really? Okay, what is really liberal? And honestly, the way I see it is, if you really watch it, you got Fox, you got CNN, okay? They got their agendas. And if anybody can weed out of the bullshit and start realizing, okay, they're keeping us apart, and this is so corny as shit, man. And if I was younger, Black, and watch me, I go, what the fuck is this old dude talking about? But honestly, I see the fact that, like, if you get away from that bullshit, we are really closer in everything than people think we are. Like, it's more in socioeconomics, man. It's like the poorer you are, or whatever, or middle class, whatever. They try to get them more. Oh, you know the blacks want a loan, and they want this, and it makes black people go, well, how about this? And what about us? What about this and that? And they start pointing fingers, and that's how they divide us. But if we get away from that bullshit, let me tell you something. When I saw them invade the Capitol on January 6th, don't get me wrong, those motherfuckers should be hanged for treason. And that's the way I feel about it. But there is about a little bit of me, a little itty bit of me that goes, you know what? They have not what they were doing it for, but there's a part of me that goes, yeah, we should kind of overthrow that government in a way. I mean, that should have been happening a long time ago.
Right. But, you know, here's the thing, but they keep dividing you because they say, and I personally, to touch on 2 points you said, I think we are closer than we ever have been, and that's what's scaring them. So they're throwing everything they can.
Yeah.
You know, everything, in my opinion, they're throwing everything they can to keep us. They don't want you focused on anything. They want you to know with the news story here with death, murder, everything, whatever they can do to keep us from being together. They don't want that. I mean, they're throwing the Hail Mary and everything. When it comes to the Capitol, look, man, I watched that shit. And I mean, I'm like, that shit was 50-50 or 100-100. Those guards let these motherfuckers through.
Yes, they did.
So, I mean, so nobody wants to talk about that bullshit because ain't nobody in the world know you ain't black walking up and down and sitting in senator's fucking desk and putting your feet up on it and spinning around and shit. You know, I mean, that shit was staged and fucking, that shit was, that shit, it was so ridiculous that I'm like, it can't be real. That's that's how fucking crazy it was.
Yeah.
Because niggas can't get 2 steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
We go anywhere without guns. You know, whoa, it's too many of you guys gathering in one point. You know, what's going on?
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers was, you know, the guards like, okay, come this way.
Yes.
And it's all BS, bro.
I mean, I know it that whole thing was, and God damn it, some of those Republicans, and this is where I hate dividing, but it's just the truth. I mean, don't get me wrong, Democrats aren't the liberals and saviors to us that they claim to be, but that Marjorie Taylor, whatever, she needs to be in jail she called for the assassination of some people. She should be in jail, and I really think they were in on it. I think that day they were smuggling in weapons, and they told them, here's what's going to happen. You come through this way, and it came down, and anybody could see that. Stevie Wonder could see that, comic to comic. Stevie Wonder, that's the oldest joke in the world. Stevie Wonder could see that shit. We all know what happened.
Ray Charles. So, hey, write some new shit. Change it to Ray. I've been writing. I'm gonna use Ray Charles now.
Make it do what it do, man. Make it do
what
it do.
Hey, I'm on top of the Capitol, baby. You know, both those motherfuckers can see, right? You realize that. Get him.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. Here's my theory. They just said they couldn't see to actually avert racism. You know what I mean? You back in the 50s and 60s, if you like, I can't see, like, oh, you can't beat a blind dude. He can't see how racist we are. So they gave him the pass. So that motherfucker, they can see. Them motherfuckers can see. They played that. That was their big joker in a game of spades. The motherfucker was like, oh, I'm blind. Oh, you can't hit a blind nigger, can you? No. Just keep singing. You know what I mean? Yeah, is this good food? Yeah, if he can't poison a blind nigger, he's like, good entertainment. Yeah, they were smart. Right now, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles is driving around somewhere in Malibu, laughing ass off.
Fucking bitches.
With this top down. Come on, you get the right one, baby.
But that's okay. This thing about it that we always talk about, at least when they talk about you, and I've seen it, is that, and don't get me wrong, your act was always good. It was always tight. You were above the rest. And when they were all a pool of all of us trying to get it together, you were always a cut above the rest. And then, I don't know what happened, on the road, if you're kind of rolling in the same circles, you can't really work together. That means somebody's making more money. And so you got to do what you got to do. Right. But it just seemed like you found that voice and you made that leap to where it was scary. I mean, it was a dangerous scare, like it says in your bio. You were dangerously funny, where you made people go, ooh, like people like they paid attention and they shut the fuck up, and their buttholes puckered like, oh boy, oh this is and you were hitting them dead, and I'm right, and to the point they couldn't argue with it because you were so right, but you hit every side, which made it so more palpable. You know what I mean?
Well, see, who's that in the background? Hey,
that's Malik.
Get out of the goddamn camera.
That's Malik.
Get out of the way, Malik. We're trying to run a goddamn show here. And bring me back a paper. Shit don't start happening till 11. Yeah. All right, look, so no, but what you just said, see, that's what I'm telling. That's what I said earlier on in the show, that I have the same respect for you as you have for me, because true comedians recognize exactly what other true comedians do. So when you said I'm different from all angles, that was what I needed to do early on. That was something that I wasn't doing. Okay. I was just like hitting like bam, bam, bam. And nobody was really laughing, to the point. I mean, they were laughing, but I was like, it was coming off as hard. It was harsh as fuck.
Yeah.
Very harsh, and I didn't realize that until I had stepped back, and I'm like, okay, how can I make these harsh points palpable and funnier? So then I used everything that I was told to use, be silly Vince, be the Vince that watches cartoons, be the Vince that improv, be the Vince that goes high and low, laughs and serious. So I use all those tools that I got now to spoon feed some of this hardcore shit, I don't just straight say it. I mean, I find like a little word, a little nuance to kind of make you laugh. I know another word's gonna make you be upset. And then I do something crazy to kind of make you, get you off guard. So, but overall, you're getting what I'm trying to say. That's the fun part.
It's the fun part now, but I mean, there's a process. People don't, and this is what I love. People don't see the process. They see the finished product. Some when it comes to a special, or whatever. We'll get to that, but it's that process when that night it doesn't go well. It didn't go the way you want it to go. You go, fuck, what am I missing from this bit? And we talked about this, and it's like you take the most serious subjects that are in the now, and that people, chirping each other, and man, the way you get it out and have it right, hit people in the nose, but you make them laugh with it. What was what was that moment, or was it moments that led you up to, okay, I got to do it this way? Because I think we both talked about working jokers and dating that helped us out. When we were like, go ahead.
The moments that made me change when motherfuckers weren't laughing. You know what I mean? Because I'm in the back going, this shit's funny. And when this shit was hit or miss all the time, I'm like, you gotta do something about this, So yeah, just the fact that, when they're not laughing more times you think they should, be like, okay, I need to change some shit around. I don't want to drop this bit completely or take this whole premise away. How do I make it funny? How do I make it funnier? And sacrifice, maybe I gotta sacrifice not saying this, going so deep into this, pull back here and say something a little differently, and then hit them around with a tag and make the tag more serious in the setup. And, so that's the fun part. You don't really understand how it works. I just know how to make it work. Same thing with you. We're doing it so many years that if someone go, you look at something, be like, I can make that work. And the younger comic be like, how do you know? I'm like, I just know. I know what I need to do. I don't know why necessarily. I just know the machines and mechanics I got to put towards it to make it work.
Well, it's funny how we talk about your dad being in the military, being a sniper, because that, to me, that's how you approach that comedy. Because when the shit goes down, right, 90% of the people, 95% of people, they're going to run, like somebody starts shooting, pow, 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 pow. What are you going to do? You're going to run away. Where, the tough topics come, comics going to skirt it. They're going to talk about, no, and don't get me wrong, I have no problem with comics talking about silly shit. I have no problem with that. But you go, you know what? This is the button topic that everybody's pissed off about. Well, let me go into that. Let me go into the fire. And that's what makes you, even to this day, one of the best ever, because you have elevated everybody's game. And I talked to Billy D. Washington last night. Billy Washington, another great comic. And we talked about how you made him better. Because Billy said it in his words. He goes, man, I was doing the same shit for 10 years. I didn't change a word. He goes, we worked together as a group. And if people don't know this, we had a group together. We'll get in there called the Sellout Comedy Tour. And we were in a group together. It was me, Vince, the Billy D. Washington, and Louis Johnson Jr. And watching Vince, watching what he did on stage made everybody elevate their game, because what he would do is he would take those topics that people were afraid, like, I don't know if I'm going to talk about this. I don't know if I'm going to talk about, at the time, maybe gays getting married or at the time, this and that. And Vince said, you know what? I'm going into the fire. And where they're shooting at, I'm going into where they're shooting at, because damn it, I got a bigger gun and I'm going to see what they got. And that's what you did. You did it with your writing. You did it with going into that fire, and you made people go, God damn, this dude is sharp. And that's what you did. And you elevated our games, because anytime anybody takes on topics that people are afraid to talk about because they're afraid of the backlash, you said, fuck that. You went into it and you did that. And you made us better by that, man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I need to get back to that extent, because what I've done recently, been doing, I hit the hardcore. I hit the subject matter that I want to talk about. But I actually, you know what? I'm happy with what I'm doing right now, because I hit the hardcore subjects that I want to do. But it may not necessarily be for like 45 minutes. It may be like 15, 20 minutes. And then the other 30, I'm just fucking around doing some silly shit. Yeah. So the ride is like this for everybody, and it's for me too, because everybody is enjoying themselves, because for the first 20 minutes, the majority of people may be laughing. Some people may not be laughing. But the last half an hour, those people are laughing too. So I want to incorporate that silly shit along with the hardcore stuff as well. So that's the fun part for me, is how can I make something funnier with acting as silly as I am, bringing that serious subject to light. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the words that you just said, and also what Billy said, man. That means a lot.
No, but it's the truth.
We all learn from each other, man. Trust me. I watch every show, even to this very day. I'll go to open mic nights, you know, and I'm in the back, get a couple of drinks, and I'm laughing loud. You know, I like watching the guy. I like watching, you know, and
Still
someone, hey, try it this way. Try tag this way.
Still
you know,
love the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, still love the game,
you know, I mean,
man.
I have fun. I sit there and watch. I sit in the back.
Yeah,
and then I just watch the whole goddamn show.
You know what you're like? You're like the Black Muppets in the Muppet Show with the guys up in the. That's what you're like. You're like the old Black Muppet. You motherfuckers ain't funny. You know that's what you are now because you got the beard now with the gray. So that's what you are now. You're the black. You know what? You're like Muppets 2.0. That's what you are. You're up in the balcony. You got your little drink going. You call that comedy? These fucking kids. Well, what's got the skinny jeans back in my day? You used to get your ass whipped with skinny jeans. You know, that's what you are now.
You couldn't even walk uphill both ways with skinny jeans. We wore skinny jeans back then. They were called what is it? Thermal underwear. We put our pants over that shit. You motherfuckers walk out in insulation. You work out in thermal pants and shit. Put some pants over that shit in the wintertime.
Those were the skinny jeans back in the day. Was a thermal. That's true, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
you
true.
didn't come out of the house like that. You put pants over that bullshit. You keep it moving. Fuck, you guys are going backwards. Those nice denim thermals you wearing and shit.
But you know, I talked about how, you know, like you usually take on those subjects, but with risk, there comes, you know, there's reward, but there's also failure. And I don't know if you want to talk about this, but there came a time and, you know, I heard about what happened. I read about your whatever interpretation about what happened in Columbus when you got into it with some gays.
Some bullshit.
Yeah,
it was some straight up bullshit.
Yeah. So you tell your part of the story. I want you to tell it.
I gloss over pretty. I mean, I'll tell you the gist of it, which is the truth of it. I was doing jokes that I normally would do. You know, I was talking about this and that, and then I was talking about everybody, you know, and I got talking about Bruce Jenner at the time and shit, and you know,
which is a funny joke. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me do your joke for you, okay?
Let me see if it's okay. Which one was it? Go ahead.
It was what my cousin said. Caitlyn Jenner's a girl. He goes, no, Caitlyn Jenner's a man. Period, because she can't have a period.
One. And I was like, yeah, you have when you have three Y chromosomes and 2 XYs, that's a man or something like that. I had it was some kind of configuration.
It was a great joke.
And then somebody yelled out in the middle of my shit, fuck you, that's bullshit. Right in the middle. And it's like 30 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what? You know, and what's going on? That's bullshit. I was like, what is it? You're making fun of Caitlyn Jenner. I was like, I'm making fun of everybody. Well, you need to know your place. Is like now. I go, let me get this straight. I said, you didn't have a problem with me saying Mexicans built this wall behind me when one of the jokes I was referenced.
Right.
You have a problem with me saying how all these Africans living around here now. You have a problem with me talking about I don't like the word nigga, but now you offended?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, because being gay is worse than being black. That's what he said. And the whole crowd turned on him.
Good. That's good.
The whole crowd went ballistic.
Wow.
What the fuck? And then they were hurt.
Yeah.
So then they went back and said, you know, this guy's this guy's that. We hate him. You know, we don't want his family to eat. All kind of shit, man.
But did you get banned from the club from that?
I got a standing ovation.
I mean, but okay, you got standing ovation. Okay, but I'm talking like afterwards.
They didn't fuck with me like they should be fuck with me. It was some bullshit, bro. It was some deep bullshit. I didn't get the backing that I should have got.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Did the club not back you in that? I mean, did the club like
not like they should have? No.
See, and that's my thing. I mean,
but here's the thing though, and that was on the onset of when they wanted to start canceling motherfuckers. I mean, I saw. The reality of it is I was legitimately in the midst of somebody lying. I was on the end of something. I go, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And I had hundreds of people going, that's crazy. That didn't happen that way. Legitimately. And I know where my heart was, but that still didn't make a difference. It was about the agenda, them trying to do this. And so from that moment on, I don't trust any of those motherfuckers. I don't trust, when I hear something like that, I'm like, nah, I know what happened. So now I can't take any of these things seriously when I hear this from here on out, because I know what happened to me. I know how it happened to me.
Yeah.
And I know what the result was. I'm like, this is some bullshit. So I mean, I got some feelings about that, man. And
what are you feeling? What are they? What are the feelings?
Fuck them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I know what my heart is. You know, I'm like, you will sit there. I believe, here's the thing. To this very day, I believe any comedian should be able to say what he or she wants to say on stage. Don't fucking matter to me. I would never tell a comedian. I had a joke about that now. I said, you know what? This cancel culture is, you better watch out, because when you stop a motherfucker from feeding their family, bruh.
Yeah.
You better be able, you know what I mean? That shit, but here's the thing. I personally, if I say, I have my own built-in cancel culture. Most real professional comedians have their own built-in cancel culture. My whole cancel culture to me is like, if I'm doing shit that ain't working, I'm gonna stop doing that joke. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna cancel that joke.
So if I'm doing, so in this day and age, not 199 people could be standing up for ovations, and you got that one motherfucker that wants to write a letter to the club and try to stop you from eating. You know, and then you know, that motherfucker needs to be, that is so lopsided, that's so wrong, that is so ridiculous. You know, you got people coming out the clubs now specifically wanting to hear something they can bitch about.
Yes. But
I'm like,
but if they're in a marginalized group, that elevates their cause. You know what I mean?
Because people are putting up with that shit.
Here, to me, it's like I'm trying to parallel it in the sense of it's almost like most parents are today. We had it so tough growing up. You get the whoopings and this and that. That those when we were growing up, we're like, you know what? When I have a kid, fuck that. I'm not gonna beat my kids. And my mom said it best one time. My brother's kids were acting up, and she goes, "Why don't you whoop these kids?" My brother said, "Mama, I'm not gonna beat my kids the way you beat us." And the way I see it, sometimes the society is going, okay, you know what? We've done this. We've marginalized this group so much that when they do complain, we're going to listen to them, and we're going to go overtly out of the way to make sure that whoever did this to them is going to pay the price, or they get in positions of power.
Yeah, I think it's power. Because here's the thing, because I was on the receiving end of it, because it was about power, because it wasn't about resolving anything.
Yeah.
So that's why I know it's bullshit, because what happened in my end with my situation, they were mad at the audience. It wasn't me. The audience is what wouldn't be listening, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You could stand in the middle of an audience and say being gay is worse than being black. White people were cussing these motherfuckers out. Yeah. No, that's real talk. I mean, what kind of ridiculous shit is that?
Yeah.
So, but no one was interested in solutions. No one was interested in saying, hey, let's talk about this. It was all about power and what can I do, you know, and to stop, to destroy something and keep moving without resolution, because you don't want resolution. You want that power because the insecurities, whatever the situation is a lot, you know, that's causing you to fucking overcompensate. You know, I need all this power. You know, I want to be able to stop somebody. Are you hurt? Well, not really. I mean, do you want to resolve it? They want to come to the table. No, I don't want that. I want to stop them from fucking being able to eat or whatever. So with that being said, man, it's like what group is marginalized? Anybody who's a comedian, we're marginalized in society because we are paid to talk about shit that happens. It's not just one. That is why we are court gestures. We're the only motherfuckers that can make fun of the king.
Yeah.
Everybody came to listen to us talk about real shit. You know, we are literally the best reporters in the world, because true comedians may be biased, but they'll give you both points of views. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk about what's going on in the world, you know, and there's some comedians that legitimately try to be hurtful, you know, try to be edgy. They want to walk people. Comedians back in the day, I want this table to get out and walk away. So they'll specifically say something to try to get them. Nowadays, you can't even say fat, faggot, you know, oh, did you say bitch? You can't say bitch. What?
Yeah.
The fuck, what, you know, don't, my whole thing is, don't come to my shows. Please. Don't come indoors. Don't come in society. Live in a cave.
Living your bubble. Living your bubble.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what do you feel of white comics? I had a conversation with comedians about a couple weeks ago. I was in Arizona. Motherfuckers like, well, you think white comics should be able to use the N-word? If he wants to. Once again, listen, it will be built in whether or not he should use it again. It's not, you know what I mean?
No, hey.
You know what I mean?
No, you know, it reminds me of. I remember this. Remember we were on stage doing our show, and there was a question, and they go, why can't white people use the N-word? You go, you can, you can. Go ahead, tell me how that works out for you.
You know, don't let me stop you. Yeah. See what happens. You know what I mean? Why am I? Well, am I upset? Here's the thing. It literally is one of two things. It has to be funny.
Yes.
Or else.
Yes.
That's it. If it's not, then wherever you are will take care of why you shouldn't use it again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm not gonna be like, yo, he said nigger, you know, I want him fired.
Yeah.
You know, hey, it doesn't matter. I think you should be able to say what you want to say. You'll see what people respond to it.
Yeah, you know what? When somebody asks me that, though, if a white comic asks me, I immediately know where they're thinking or where their head is. So where their head is, like, all right, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when they say, "Well, how come you guys can use it and we can?" That's when you go, oh, "Okay," and then I know where they are as a person, and I kind of go, "Okay," and then I just, you know what I mean?
Right.
I just
because they're not coming from a creative standpoint. They're trying to play that devil's advocate to try to trip you up. Because truth be told, I think you maybe feel the same way about me. I don't give a fuck. If you can use the word nigga, go ahead.
Yeah.
See, I mean, it better if it's funny, I'ma laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's a difference. You can shoot me to say we're a faggot, whatever. But it's a difference between doing a nigger joke, so to speak, or going to saying I hate niggers. I think niggers should die. I mean, whatever kind of joke. If the joke is about, you using the word nigger or whatever, and the inference of it is not hateful, I don't care. Yeah. I'll laugh at it or I won't laugh at it. But I know how to deal with you from here on out. If I see where your objectives are, I just won't fuck with you. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, I want you fired. I'm not gonna call a club and be like, I can't believe you booking, whatever this comic is, he's using the word nigger, use the word Jew, or who gives a fuck?
It's the intent. I mean, I think as a comic, we can tell who really means that shit. Like you go, oh, this motherfucker really meant that shit. You know what I mean? There's comics out there. I'm not gonna mention his name. I think it's wrong, but I think he's a racist. But I think he's funny. You know what I mean?
A lot of them, I know a lot of them are racist.
I mean, I don't know if I should say his name. Anyway, he's a hilarious comic. But I go,
what's it rhyme with?
Neapolitan. Nick DiPaolo.
You mean
I like Nick DiPaolo. I think Nick DiPaolo's. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I think Nick DiPaolo's racist, but I think he's funny. I think Nick DiPaolo's funny. I think he's a great writer. I watch all his specials. I think he's hilarious, but I think he's racist. I mean, yeah. Deep down, I think, he'll deny it. But it's funny how those dudes who claim they're not racist.
I'm not.
Yeah, but they all moved down south. You ever notice that?
Listen. This is what fuck you up. Because I'm not racist. I love niggers. What? Nah, that was stopping my tracks. Well, hold up. Well, that isn't. Wow. Okay. I love niggers. That's a liberal racist.
They give themselves away all the time, but
it's thing. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You work with somebody who I remember a year and a half ago. I was like, how you fuck with this dude who was out of Colorado originally in the. You know what I mean? Remember I text you?
Yeah.
He was like, see, it was a prime example. He was like, he's all right. We know who it is. He ain't saying that shit to me.
Yeah. I know.
Right? It's another example of being a professional comedian. I don't give a fuck. I mean, go up, I'm gonna make them laugh too, but just don't come with don't. You know how you can. Don't come with some bullshit on the side.
Yeah, don't come with the bullshit on the side. And it's like I like an intent. Like okay, but you know what? I always say okay. Is this person the kind of person that would commit a hate crime? I mean, it's gotten to the point. I give them that leeway. This kind of person that would commit a hate crime, and then I bring it down to, okay, as long as they don't talk shit to me off stage, and I can see them committing a hate crime, and they watch their mouth, and and they're funny, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, exactly. Because truth be told, I believe 80, I believe 70, 80, 90% of motherfuckers are racist.
Yeah.
They don't look like me.
And speaking of that, it's not even racist, but this is why I think that got us, everybody closer, I think, is that Billy came up, it was a concept, he wanted to have African-American comics. The show, like at the time, Def Jam was big or whatever and all this, and people only saw one side of comic. And we always had to preface this by saying, there's nothing wrong with those comics because that's who they are. Don't get me wrong. That's who they are, like Mike Epps or whatever. Great comic. And they call themselves ghetto comic. That's great. I have no problem with those guys, okay? But there was so much more. And God damn it, it's hard to say, but we formed a group called the Sellout Comedy Tour. And we call it Sellout because we were at one time being called a sellout because sometimes the comics that work the quote unquote urban rooms or they have a black night, whatever, right? They would call us sellouts because we worked the mainstream or the white rooms, right? And so we wanted to show that there was more than black comics and just, than
one particular subject.
So, and the greatest thing about that, we had 4 comics. Like I said, it was Billy D. Washington, Vince Morris, it was me, and Lewis Johnson. And the greatest thing about that, and I still think to this day, the more I look at it, the more incredible it was. It was 4 different comics. We did 15 minutes apiece up front, and then we took questions from the audience called Ask a Black Man Anything You Wanted to Ask, but were afraid to. And it was anonymous, and you write it out. And we answered those questions on stage, never a ringer. I mean, it was always from the audience. But what the greatest thing about that was 4 of us doing comedy front, and nobody had the same premise. Out of 4 black comics, no one had the same premise. That's we
didn't think alike. We thought alike, but we were all completely different. That's what people actually need to see. We 4 black men, different shades of black. Remember that?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Lou being more mid-90s.
Me around 9:30, 10.
Actually, I'm standing in front of Lou. It's not even a black shirt I'm wearing right now. So that's not true. No, but it was 4 black perspectives, man. It was different. And then we all got along. That's what we wanted to show everybody because it's not monolithic. Black people legitimately, and we know this, people know this, but they need to see it. Black people think differently. We all don't think the same. And so that was a great fucking a great show we had, man.
It was a show, but here's the thing, but I gave the audience too much credit because you just said it. You said, I think people know that, and I go, no, because sometimes we talk to people off stage, and I go, wow, you really fucking think that way? Like what? Honestly, I mean, you would talk to people and you think people would know that, the stereotype of a black man not having a father in the family, and it's like, and we take it for granted that no, people know that, and they really don't. And they go, well, wait a minute, you had dads?
You've never really been to jail before? Yeah. You never committed a felony? Like, yeah, no, that never happened. Well, because I was told that's the media's fault. Then you go back to how what they've been fed. All this cycle, like we said about 20 minutes ago, you see it's bullshit. Yeah. They don't care. Yeah. They feed it, they put these images, they put these news stories out, and you have white people legitimately going, I'm sorry. Remember we was at, I'm sorry I thought that way. I didn't know, because it wasn't like they were coming from a place of
hatred.
No, they were legitimately going, I fucking had no idea because this is what I've been told, grown up with. Yeah. So,
but in a way, trust me, I understand that to a point. I really do, because people grow up to a point in a way but here's what's weird, and I've never been able to pinpoint this, is most kids say, most mixed school, they may have a black friend, whatever, and it's like they're cool until a certain age, and then they kind of like forget the black friend and then go in your separate ways, and then it's like they forget about that, and they go, I guess, I don't know, their circles, whatever, and they don't, it's like they don't interact with black people, so they buy into the stereotype. So then when they saw our show, they'd be like, oh, I had no idea. It's like, how did you have no idea? I mean, especially in today's age, you got the internet, you got this and that, so you can Google stuff. So there comes a time when I'm gonna call bullshit, because you can step outside your comfort zone and go and find people. Somebody at work, strike up a conversation at work, find somebody. So I take that to a certain point, but it's like, nah, man. I mean, I think, I just remember being in Utah. This is my favorite. People ask, what's your favorite question when they say, ask a black man, something you're always afraid of to ask, but you always want to know. And my favorite question was, why does my dad hate you guys so much? That was my favorite question. Remember? We read that on stage, and the one black guy in the audience, he got up and left because he got so pissed off.
Yeah.
Remember?
But the joke, I remember. I think I remember what my answer was. And black guy should have stayed because I think I remember what my answer. Do you remember what your answer was?
It's something like, I don't know. He never made the basketball team. I don't
and
know.
I said because I fucked your mom. Good night, folks. That made me feel good.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do that joke just to make yourself feel good. That little jab.
All these jokes you got to do to make yourself feel good because I am my best critic and my worst critic, and my best friend and my worst friend.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, because honestly, and all the accolades I give you are true. It's not blowing smoke. It's just the fucking truth. And I wish people who are watching this for the first time who don't know you, I hope you. It's like you don't understand when you see a comic, and I tell people, I understand. You're a regular person. You're a regular person works a 9 to 5 or whatever. And you want to go to a comedy club. You're going to look at you're going to say, what's this guy been on? This and that. And you go, oh yeah, this is the guy from blah, blah, blah. Let's go see him. And you're not going to go, I haven't heard of this guy before. I'm not going to see him. But you're the one. And if you see somebody on TV, trust me, you think they're okay funny. See them in live, they're going to be funnier. But you're one of the few people that when HBO had a thing called the One Night Stand, Vince Morris did it called HBO's One Night Stand. Vince Morris did it. And when I tell you, this was excellence personified. You got a standing ovation on the One Night Stand, which I have never seen before. And his jokes were so tight and so perfection. And you got a standing ovation. That was one of the best One Night Stand I've ever seen in my life. I tell you, and what the frustrating part is, if I ask you this as an honest question, why aren't you a bigger name?
Because I think I literally didn't. I hated LA. Hate it. I mean, I would get stomach cramps when I flew back in. Every time I would land LAX, I didn't. You know what I really didn't like about it is the same thing I don't like about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just it's not real. None of it was real. It was everything this is my perspective. Everything LA prepares you is boot camp for you to do shit you don't want to do for the rest of your life. It comes with acting classes, well, how come I can't have the bigger role? I never forget. I mean, different classes, maybe I was in a Howard Fines or I was in Vincent Chase's class.
Yes,
I was in.
I had his class.
What's that girl's name? That has a 4-story house. Is getting probably $20,000 a day. What's her name? Leslie Kahn.
Okay.
Leslie Kahn. Yeah. So they're like, well, when you come to LA, you can't be a movie star. Everybody wants to be a leading role actor, so you're gonna have to do things you don't want to do. Have to do roles you don't want to do. And I'm like, that makes sense. But that conditioning goes all the way down to you're gonna have to do shit you don't want to do. You have to start playing roles you don't want to have to play. I can't be a black spy. No, you have to be a black slave. You're gonna have to be a black criminal. For me, it was the psyche of they train you into doing shit you don't want to do. Flash forward to fucking Dave Chappelle. You have to put this dress on. I don't want to put this dress on.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and it was phony to me because the funniest people in Los Angeles were never the people that got what they deserve. Live in LA, the same thing. You see people, LA, whoever they deem as being funny, then they're crowned to be the next person going up. And LA just goes along with it. And you just you have to play that game because if you don't play the game right, then you're not going to be crowned. And I guess I didn't play the game right because I don't like kissing ass. I don't like being phony. I didn't like that. It just hurt my soul. My soul was fucked up.
Why didn't you want to go to New York? Because you had the.
LA was where starting out. LA is where you want to go because you wide eye. You want to go for all the movies and stuff, commercials and stuff. And New York wasn't so much back then. Between the two, you wanted to go to LA.
But you had that.
And when I got to LA, the first day I got to LA, I got a manager, agent, and an entertainment lawyer. When I walked off stage at the Improv the first night, I had a manager, agent, and a fucking an accountant, or a lawyer.
Really? They saw you and they came to you, and you got the best of everything.
Yeah, but you know who said that? Who legitimately started my career in Los Angeles? It was Kathleen Madigan.
Wow.
I love Kathleen. Kathleen Madigan, hands down, set it up for me. She set up everything for me.
That's beautiful.
Kathleen Madigan maybe come out there. She goes, I'm gonna get you improv I'm gonna get you to set. I don't know what to do, Kathleen. No, you come in, you'll fly your ass out here. And I went out there and I got it. And so, but what really fucked me up, B, is that when I would do these showcases, do all these showcases, all the industry come out. Hollywood kept telling us we don't want to do stereotypical stuff. We want to give holding deals to black smart comedians. That was what they kept saying. Every time I would do my showcase, I would have a very good show. I'm not bullshitting. I will be one of the top stand-up comics on roster.
You gotta tell me that.
Never happened. They'll pair you up with somebody, a showrunner or a writer, and all the ideas you have got twisted. It was like, you want niggas again. Yeah. You want nigga shit. So they continuously lie to you. I mean, we want smart black. We want this, we want that. And then when you get there, here we are. Oh, no, we're going to give it this guy here, or this girl here. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't want it, And it goes back to what Paul Mooney would say. Hollywood is weird. Hollywood is going too far. You motherfuckers go too far. You guys, you know what scares Hollywood? Niggas with books and degrees.
Yeah, but it's the truth, though. I mean,
it was the truth in the 70s too. And but he was saying that shit for 30 years.
Yeah.
But it didn't, like you said, once you get in it, you don't realize that 10 years, you're like, this shit is repeating itself.
Yeah. And they rebranded and everything.
Right.
But
that's why I'm not a bigger name. But plus my daughter was born. I moved back. Once my daughter was born.
Yeah. Now I understand that. I just still say at the time, but your act was so, like I said, the writing is so crisp. It was so edgy. It had New York written all over it, but it had Midwest. It's weird. It had New York as far as writing and edginess. It was New York. So it was like, right. I don't think it fit LA. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing about it. Nobody could fuck with you on any level when it came, because you knew, the great thing about you is, man, you're like almost like a Bill Belichick is, you saw what they were saying about African-American comics. And you were like, I'm not going to be that way. I can show you, no matter what you think that we are or aren't, I'm going to show you what we are. Okay, you don't think black comics can write as well as white comics? I'm going to show you we can. You don't think we can do this? I'm going to show you we can. And you did that.
And you did the exact same thing. That's what I'm saying. So and Billy does the exact same thing, and Lewis does it. I mean, there's a lot of us out there. You know what I mean? So it's not just, I looked at it from my own individual perseverance. I'm like, there's no white comic gonna outright a joke about me. I can read the paper. That's how far back I'm going. I can pick up the paper and write a fucking joke about a daily current event.
A paper? What's a paper? What's a paper?
Hey, all your listeners right now, their computer just glitched. What is that? What? Paper. He read what? Is microfiche? No, so I can read, like, I can do current events, and you the same way. I mean, I can write a joke, set a punchline about, whatever's going on during the day. Mm-hmm. You know better than me. You're not. So I did that, and you are the same way. That's to say, you have your notes, you have your well thought out jokes and stuff. So there's so many other black comedians that are more superior in that aspect that they don't want to give us credit. They don't want. Listen, they still think Chris Rock is the edgiest. They still think Dave Chappelle is the most edgy, and as far as being crossover, and they keep giving those motherfuckers the props, and they should.
Yeah.
But what Chris and Dave should have done or haven't done is bring up other comics who think like that.
Yeah.
That look like them.
Yeah.
You think I'm funny? Look at these other brothers who think with these obscure references, and think outside the box and come at you from different arrows coming at you different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Hollywood doesn't want that. They don't want to have 3 or 4 niggas that are edgy that they're giving accolades to. It's always Chris Rock.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dave Chappelle. Oh, they're edgy. Let's give them $45 million to tell you how edgy they are. What about BT and Vince? Oh, they're doing a Gisser gig right now. But
they're doing a coal mine somewhere in West Virginia.
Is it no hotel? Nigga, there's no audience. And this just in, there's no hotel, there's no money, and you still got to do it. So, I mean, those motherfuckers, they don't want to. and they don't want their their anointing of being the most edgy comic. They don't want that to go past their own little ilk.
Well, now that I got you on the subject, modern day comics, your top 5, top of the head, modern day comics that make you go, oh shit, okay, that make you laugh. Modern day.
You know what? Here's the thing. I haven't been watching comedians be like who has a special. I literally have been so. What'd I say?
He said what? Yeah.
Come around here one more time.
One more again.
One more again.
Okay.
Can he hear me?
No, he can't. Can you hear him? Can you hear him? Oh, he can't hear you. No, say something. Say something.
Oh, you come around here one more time, God damn it, messing up your damn camera view.
He can hear you now. But you don't have any top 5 comics? You don't have any?
No, not like new comics. I don't know who's. Here's the thing. They're the same people, bro. I watch the same comics that come up. They got the same cadence. All these comics they do. They see what works. They plug their own thing in.
Yeah.
You got the esoteric comics. The kind, I'm not trying to be funny, and they got the girls doing the same thing. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm gonna talk about my pussy,
Yeah, that kind of got old.
But if you're black, you talk about your pussy. I'm gonna call you nasty. But since I'm blonde and white, I can say pussy and it's funny, my pussy. Yeah. They the same motherfuckers, You asked me who the top 5 comics I saw last weekend at Why is an open mic night. I got those motherfuckers had me rolling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know who's up there right now. I haven't watched any specials. I haven't watched Dave Chappelle's specials. None of them.
Really? Okay. Who's your right now top 5 all time? Top 5 all time.
All time? Oh shit. Gotta be is Pryor.
Okay.
Cosby. Carlin,
Cosby, Pryor, Carlin.
Oh God, what's the white? Oh my God.
Help me. I can tell. I tell you. What's his jokes?
It's not Bruce. And what's his name? Hicks.
Bill Hicks. Okay.
Hicks.
Give me one.
Mom's Maybelline.
Okay. I like that. When old school, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a documentary of Moms. I'm like, I didn't know she was like that.
Yeah. Nice.
I was like, I'm sorry, Red Fox too. I got to put Red in there somewhere. So you can't.
Yeah.
I gotta squoze them together.
I love that, man. All right, damn it. I know, man. We got to go. I told you.
Okay.
Yeah, this ain't Rogan, man. We can't go all day. So, yeah.
You know what? We could.
Yeah. Yeah. We ain't got no job. Might as well.
Hey, okay, let's move to Austin. Shit. They got room?
Yeah. Might as well. Yeah, man. God damn, man. I love kicking in with you, man. This is what the fuck I'm talking about right here.
We should have our own podcast and call it the Bro Brogan Show.
The Bro Brogan? Yeah.
Bro Brogan.
I like that, man. We should do that.
There you go.
I like
that.
Is
it Joe Rogan? Nah, this is Bro Brogan.
The bros.
Put some seasoning on these topics.
Or the bros. Oh, how about that? The bros.
Dude, like that?
I like that shit. Man, goddamn, I know, man. We gotta go. God damn it, we gotta go. B, man, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it because I know the guy, but I'm saying it. This comic, and if I ran it down, BET, he did the Apollo. He did the Apollo. He did Def Jam. He's done it all. Like I said, it's not the thing you read comics do. You go, yeah, and you go, hey, he didn't do that shit. He did all that shit. He didn't just do the shit. He did it at a high level. I'm sorry. He still does it at a high level. It's Vince Morris. And he elevated my game because we were in that group together. And I remember I wrote out a one-man show before I knew what I wanted to do with it. And there was those jokes, and you helped me cultivate it and get my voice in there that I wouldn't have got it without you because you elevated my game. Because I remember I would come out and talk about rock and roll and this and that, and you were like, and I remember Kevin Bozeman said it best. I go, man, how come black crowds don't like me? He goes, because you talk about Pearl Jam, that's why. And you had me right in a way where it'd be palpable to African American crowd, and I could go.
Absolutely,
yeah. So.
I appreciate you, I feel the same way about you feel about me, my man. That is no bullshit. I hold you in the highest regards as one of the top comedians. I put us up against any motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I mean that.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Gotta go, V. Hey, man. Thank you so much, Vince Morris. Sir. Appreciate you, brother. Be safe out there on the road. Hopefully we get to work together one day. I don't give a shit. I'll open up for you. I don't give a damn, man.
I'll open up for you too. Shit. Like I said, Gisser got a room down here in Kentucky.
Right. Hey, boy. We gotta go. I'm BT, and like I say around this time, you know the word. Peace.